Struggling with moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis? Talk to your doctor about #1 prescribed.
Test.
Ladies and gentlemen, our unbelievable, fabulous, exciting meeting starts in a scant 7 minutes. What a great time to get your lunch and get your seat.
If you have at least $50,000 saved for retirement right now in 2023, did you know that you can legally become your own?
I'm sorry, my dear.
You think you've learned your lesson?
I guess I made a mistake. I'll remember.
I trusted you for too long. I trusted you.
Guess I made a mistake. I'll remember.
I trusted you for too long.
I'm sorry, my dear.
Wix. One good way that you can help build urgency in the sale is asking what are called consequences.
Stephanie Credenza. Stephanie Credenza. Truly would like to see you. Ladies and gentlemen, our meeting starts in 1 minute. 1 minute.
Afternoon, club. All right, welcome to Oakland Rotary Club. Welcome and welcome and welcome. This is the third oldest Rotary Club in the world. Hello, everybody. Let's settle down and enjoy the show. Hello, Jack McAvoy. All right, we are a part of an organization that is 42,000 clubs in 200 countries. Do you believe that? We're the third oldest in the world. Who's the first? Who started this? Chicago started it, and then who? All right, and then Oakland started their club. 1908. My goodness. All right, and we've been helping this community ever since. Who's on Zoom today? Where's my Hollywood Squares of Zoomers? Good afternoon, people joining us on Zoom, and please tell your family and friends and Rotarians that miss this California Ballroom that they can Zoom in, and they can also Zoom in after the fact and watch it later. So welcome everybody on Zoom. I'm not sure who's out there, but I'm sure you know who you are. All right, do we have any guests of Rotarians? Michael Brook, do we have some mics to go around? Where's our famous Mr. Oh, there's Fred.
Thank you, Ed. Michael Brook, a recovering attorney. I'd like to introduce Kathy Dwyer's guest. Jim, stand up. Jim Wambach, he's back here for at least the second time, and he's the head of Children Rising in Oakland. Welcome,
Great,
Jim.
welcome. CJ.
Thank you, Madam President. CJ Hirschfield, feature writer. I'm happy to introduce my guest today. My guest is Patty Schneider. You can stand up. And she is involved in community activities on a volunteer basis, so heck, what a better place for her to be. So please welcome Patty.
Hi, Patty. That sounds like the definition of a Rotarian. Jesse Schmidt.
Yes, President Shannon, I have a guest with me today, Andrea Brown, and Andrea brought her guest, Heather Rapier. And so Andrea Brown is the owner of Senior Avenue, Senior Care Services, where your home care needs will be addressed. And Heather Rapier is a leadership coach specializing in leadership transformation.
Wonderful.
So
Thank you, ladies. Awesome. Welcome. Woo. All right, Jack McAvoy.
Jack McAvoy. It's good. I'm going to introduce today a very affable young man's wife. He's our speaker today, and this is Rosa.
Hello, Rosa. Welcome, Rosa. Bonnie Prestridge. And make sure you say your classification. Jack forgot the rules, you know.
Hi, I'm Bonnie. I'm a life coach for young adults, and I've just adopted some guests who are here for the second time. This is Anya Gamble-Hill, who's a life coach, and her lovely husband, Den.
Welcome back to Rotary. Nice to see you again. All right, Cedric.
Good afternoon. I want to introduce my guest, Troy Belton. He's the newest member of Minuteman Press in Oakland.
Troy, who has the best handshake I've ever had.
Hi, my name is Stu Epstein. I am the winemaker at Brooklyn West Winery, and my guest is Marissa Sweeney, and she is a climate investor.
A climate investor, extremely interesting. Welcome, thank you for coming today. I understand, are there any guests on Zoom? Not that, but hello Marie and Linda and Cinder and Rochelle and Odalis. And Peter, oh, he's on there. Anybody else? I can't see everybody's name, so forgive me when I don't greet you, but hello. Okay, there's some more. Hi, Jane, Pam, Michael, Allison. Excellent. Thank you for joining us on Zoom. Hybrid is the way it is, and so let's make sure that we can join when we can join and that we remember that they're out there. All right, we have a visiting Rotarian, I understand, Ed Jellin.
Yes, President Shannon, we actually have two visiting Rotarians
Lovely.
Here today.
Welcome.
First, I'd like to introduce from the Rotary Club of San Leandro with Anderson Commercial Flooring. Please welcome Linda Marine.
Hi, Linda. Welcome.
And then also, we're happy to have with us from the Rotary Club of Fremont, mentor, helper extraordinaire, Bob Getch.
Hi, Bob. Thank you, Bob. And you all know you can join any Rotary lunch anywhere in the world. So be a guest at another Rotary Club and listen to their cool speakers and bring them to our club. All right, we have a wonderful thought for the day, and it's by our member, Carrie Clausen. Carrie, please come up.
Hello. In honor of the Olympics, I thought I would bring in a quote from a sailor. Although he has not done Olympic sailing, he's sailed over 200,000 miles around the world on a boat with no engine. And he says, "There is no better tool or equipment you can have on board than a well-trained crew." And I feel that that applies both to sailing, life in general, and business. And Rotary for sure. And while I'm up here, I would like to invite everybody to come on the Sibley hike on Saturday. The property was owned by the McCoster family back in the Gold Rush, 1852, and they covered up all the streams. And the East Bay Parks have entered into the largest restoration project of the East Bay Parks and possibly the state to recover this and bring the streams back. Eventually, rainbow trout will return to the streams and the water will flow into the San Leandro reservoirs. We're going to be joined by the most knowledgeable park ranger on Saturday, and we'd love for you to get in touch with us so that we can arrange carpools and see if you'd like to join us for lunch. We're super excited to see as many people there as possible. It's at 9 o'clock, and if you coordinate with us, we'll figure out timing based on carpools and where to meet and all that good stuff. Thank you so much.
Great. Now, when you, thank you, Carrie, and that hike is going to be amazing. It's this Saturday. So when you join this club, you are introduced and we say a couple of interesting things about you, and then we invite you back after you've been around for a little bit, and we ask you to spend 3 minutes telling us some interesting things about yourself. And we have a 3-minute introduction today, and I'd like you to welcome Joe Partido. And Joe, I'm going to set my little clock here because, you know, I'm just gonna 3 minutes. I told him I go 3 minutes. When it goes off, so do you, my friend. Anyway, welcome, Joe.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. President. First of all, let me thank the 12 of you that tried to sponsor me 10 years ago. You tried for it, I showed up, I couldn't show up every week, but you know, you guys said, oh, you don't have to show up every week, so that's what the turning point. But those of you, 10, 12 of you out there that try to sponsor me over the last 10 years, thank you very much. You didn't lose hope on me, and here I am. Just to be honest with you, I was a member of the Rotary 30-some years ago, when I was just a young lad. No, not this one, a different one. And I didn't know what it was all about. And so anyway, I got to be the greeter and all that. And anyhow, that didn't work out very well. And here I am. I'm a member of Rotary number 3. Yeah. So let me thank Tom. Tom was got all the ethnic chambers, the small chambers in Oakland to join at the same time. So when Tom contacted me and says, okay, all you chambers are going to join, so I decided to join at that time. And then obviously I have a lot of friends here. I've come often up to your to your luncheons, and so I am here. And so let me tell you about my business. I am an insurance broker. We specialize in employee benefits for companies. We help small businesses with their medical, dental, vision, life insurance, retirement plans. So we work with small businesses. That's kind of what led me into the Chambers of Commerce. I grew up in the East Bay, and when I came back to the Bay Area from down south, I went to Cal Poly. I came back, I had no one to contact, to call on, started from scratch. So I found out there was such a thing as a Chamber of Commerce. And in East Bay or Contra Costa County, there was no Hispanic chamber. So I started organizing one with I made a few contacts, and then before I know it, we had a Chamber of Commerce. And it led me to Oakland, and I've been here 30-some years as a Chamber of Commerce in Oakland. Let me tell you a little bit about myself, is that, first of all, let me ask you, how many of you know someone that had polio? Can you stand up? I'd like you to stand up. If you know someone that had polio at one time. Okay, so those of you who are sitting down and you haven't met anybody that had polio, stand up because you met someone, me. So stand up. So you've all know or met someone that had polio, which is one of the very important, my time is up. So I was polio as a child. So when I understood what the Rotary was, that even made it more important to join and become a member of the Rotary Club, because you have as your mission to eradicate the polio vaccine. And thank you very much for your support. You know, there's a lot of folks out there, including the President of the United States, that have polio as an adult. So thank you for being supportive of the Rotary Club.
Joe, I was talking to Joe before the meeting, and I said, you know, what is it that, tell us something that you want us to know about yourself that's you know, something different. That is the coolest thing. I'm sorry you had polio. It's not cool that you had polio. But Rotary changed my life because of the Polio Plus campaign. And my mother did have polio. And unfortunately, there are still 18 cases, which is twice as many as there were last count. And they're in war-torn countries. So we still have polio to battle around the country, around the world. And Rotary has done a phenomenal job. And I appreciate that means something to you because you actually had it. So thank God we have polio vaccines.
Yeah, but we don't know hopefully they're working.
Yep.
Because we had adults that had polio.
Yep.
As adults, you shouldn't get that anymore.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Well, thank you so much. Now I have to check my timer. Okay. All right. So, sponsors needed. You know you can sponsor a Rotary Club meeting every week. $300, you can shamelessly promote your business. I just wanted to do a pitch for that. And then I wanted to now talk about what we were doing this morning, and I'm going to use my little chime here because some of the magic of Rotary happened this morning. What on earth is a hot squad?
You sending it over? Oh, okay. Hi, Dan. You're going to switch over SSTG?
Here, Zoomers.
Okay.
They're the beginning of the swag that will happen eventually. And the logo's going to change, but I had to throw something together. The Hot Squad, hands-on volunteering team squad. Rotary does community service. That's who we are. We do community service. We do world community service. We are servants to our community. So we have some great Rotary organized events that we do every year. But we also have impulsive things that we do. What did we do this morning? Who was with me all this morning? I know. Woo! David, Keith, Kathleen, Ruth, Lois. We had about 12 people. Carrie Hamill, some people online. We were helping overburdened Oakland Unified School District teachers fix their classroom bulletin boards for class that's starting on Monday. And we had a ball. It was easy. It was inside. We didn't have to pull weeds. We just stapled cute stuff on bulletin boards. And there they are. Look at that group. So we spent 2 hours. So this is the beginning of the Hot Squad. The Hot Squad simply means we're going to get requests from the community all year long. And often we tell them, here's our grant page, we will give you money, and here are the 4 things that we do every year, but we really don't react impulsively to needs of the community because we don't have a mechanism. Now we have the Hot Squad. Okay, so what the Hot Squad is it's simply people that are ready to go and are willing to be notified that we have something to do that we don't have to organize. They just need people to help. So what we're hoping, for instance, we did Prescott this morning. There's an international Peace Corps, United Nations celebration in September in San Francisco that we're going to send a notice out to the Hot Squad and see who wants to join in. Everybody in the club will get an email from me in the next couple of days. I've already sent it out to the Red Badgers saying, do you want to get notified? All notification means is you get notified. If you're free on September 21st and you want to join, go ahead. If you're not, say no. So there's no obligation. It's really important that we can respond and we put on our gear and our socks. And we show up. And I want Rotary to show up anytime there's a need. So this morning there was a need at Prescott, and it was fun to be together, and we are going to react.
Okay.
So there you go. The Hot Squad is born. Anybody that wants to be on this list, we're hoping if there are 50 people in our midst that want to at least get notified, and 2 show up, 1 shows up, none shows up. It doesn't matter. It's just being available to serve your community. And I want the new Rotarians and those of us that have time to have more hands-on work to do. Because everybody can't write a check. Everybody can't go. You have to wear the socks.
Okay, all right.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
There are going to be socks, there are going to be gloves, there's going to be funny glasses. No, we're trying to just build some awareness, and swag is good. Listen, I was at Sports Basement with my bike on Saturday, and I had my Oakland Rotary hat on, and the girl checking me out, this lovely woman was saying, oh, I'm in Rotaract at DVC. And I didn't realize the power of the swag until I watched Tom Lamone hand out 1 million hats, until we were in Tokyo and we had an interactor or a student exchange person. There's so much going on that is really part of the conversation. We saw some people at the Ballers game, which was fun. So there you go. All right, what's next? Peter, you almost got hit. You know, the first concert I ever went to was Rod Stewart, and he did this with soccer balls at the Cow Palace. But he could kick a lot farther than I can. Why am I doing this? Oh my gosh, sorry, Zoomers. Zoomers, you just don't get it. You've got to come to Rotary to be able to just, kick this ball around. Did anybody go to that Rod Stewart concert at the Cow Palace when he was wearing pink lame pants and he was kicking soccer balls? I think it was the first time I smoked something I wasn't supposed to smoke, but I did. And so why am I doing that? Because we're having a family picnic at Lake Temescal. Family picnic. It's coming right up. It's our off-site. So we're not having a Rotary Club meeting on August 29th. There's a taco truck, there's beer, there's picnic tables, there are beach balls, there's Rotarians. Bring a guest, bring your family, bring your dog, bring your friends, bring your grandmother. Who went last year? Was it fun? Yes. I heard it was a ball. I was out of the country. I had a little more fun in Portugal, but I heard it was great, so let's do it. So that's what the balls are for, so let's have some fun. Okay, we're doing fine. There was another thing I needed to do, which is, how many of you checked in? How many of you have downloaded Ignite? Ignite is your club roster on your phone. Okay, I love my paper roster, but when I don't have it with me, I'm on my phone. And guess what? When I was at Prescott volunteering this morning, I went on Ignite and I logged how many hours I invested in this community. Data is importante. We need to log our hours so that at the end of the year, we can say we spent 9,000 hours in this community helping make a difference. And we do need the data. And it's kind of fun to add up, oh my gosh, did I really spend that much time in Rotary? Yes, I did. And I had a good time. So it also gives you a chance to do your selfie, and it goes right to our PR committee. Do you know that these pictures from Prescott have already been posted all over our social media? Because we rock. Because we are youthful, and we're smart, and we're on the cutting edge, and we're trying to attract people that look at social media. So please, download Ignite, okay? Next week, we're gonna have a table, and we're gonna order you to go over to the table, and we're gonna download it on your phone with you and tell you how much fun it is. So that's very important. Data it's key to finding more projects that we can do to have an impact, to get the hot squad out in the community, right? So I'm hoping that we have some interest in going to the Civic Center in San Francisco during this celebration of peace. Peace is one of our areas of focus. Did you know that? We just opened up a peace, what's it called, Joe? A peace center in Turkey, in the Middle East. There's 6 peace centers in the world, and the 7th one was just opened, and it's in Turkey. Rotary believes in peace. And so we're gonna go to San Francisco in front of City Hall, September 21st, and we're gonna offer our volunteer services, but we're also gonna stand up for peace. And I'm really excited about that because I think we do all this good work in the community and we do good work around the world, but what's the goal? It's world peace and understanding, right? World peace and understanding, locally, in your family, with your friends, around the world, and between countries. So it gives me chills. I'm so excited. Okay, so with that, I invite you to, let's go to San Francisco and hang out. There are other Rotary clubs, they're all organizing this. I got this notice from the E-Club. You know there's an E-Club? They don't even have a geography. They're in San Francisco, they have people from all over the world, and they are an all-E club. Rotary is pivoting with geography, with attendance, with all the things that we do. And we're going to go to San Francisco and see other Rotarians from around the region, and we're going to stand up for peace. So I'm in, and I'm excited. Thank you, Dudley.
Thank you, President Shannon. And welcome to Robert Schwentker and Rosa, his wife. Robert is, if he has a job, and I'm not really sure you have a job, he's one of these people that has so many jobs. He is a generative AI education specialist with Sandbox Lab AI. He's the president of DLT Education. And if you don't know what DLT is, you're 10 years behind the curve. It's distributed ledger technology. A little over a year ago, I attended a university lecture on AI. ChatGPT had just been released to the public a few months before. Now everywhere, there's reference to AI. If you watch the Olympics, every 3 commercials is about Gemini. Robert has occupied this space and technology for over 15 years. Curiously, he started out at NYU with a BFA, and his emphasis was on contemporary dance, as I understand. He has attended the Haas Venture Capital Executive Program and Stanford's Extension Program on designing breakthrough innovations. He has over 30 IBM certifications, but his world is in training and consulting in generative AI, the blockchain technologies, and crypto with businesses around the world. He oversaw the content and instruction for the MIT Media Lab's cryptocurrency boot camp with a focus on empowering women and underrepresented scholars. And he crafted a program on hyperledger technologies with Linux, with an enrollment of over 150,000 globally. He also produces hackathons. So Robert, he says that generative AI disruption has expanded as the most urgent technology of the century so far. Robert, welcome to Rotary.
Thank you kindly. Good afternoon, all. Thank you very kindly for the invitation to speak, and welcome. The topic today is around the positive aspects of artificial intelligence, that discovering one's potential to use it to make oneself better and to make society better, ultimately. So I've entitled this talk, Discovering Cognitive Superpowers. And today we'll look at what is generative AI, as well as what are some superpowers one may gain by using it. But first off, we'll start with a little homework. You may ask, homework? I invite you to view a few recent videos, including a conference for the godmothers of AI. It's often seen that in the spotlight today that many men are leading this charge. However, there's many women also involved in the development of artificial intelligence, including at this Stanford conference, recent Stanford conference. And one of the presenters, Fei Li, had said that AI amplifies who we are. It brings out the best and the worst in us. And so we may see how this is a tool that can be used for both good and not so good. If there's many dystopian fears, I may point you to another video by Reid Hoffman, an interview with Reid Hoffman recently, and he really clears away, I think, a lot of the misconceptions the misconstruings about the use of this technology, and that there's built-in kind of guardrails in the technology and the technologists, in regulators and such, that will likely prevent this from being a catastrophe. However, we all must be aware of its potential negative sides as we use it to increase positivity. So one of his key insights was that he believes that AI should be designed to amplify human goodness. So you'll notice that there's a lot of prompts I'm using to actually create these images, and you'll see them throughout the talk. So what is generative AI? We may refer to it as advanced computational algorithms that allow us to create new content, such as images and text, video, audio, music. And this is done by learning from the existing data, the existing digital data, much of which is public on the internet. So in the same way we use Google to search for information, this data has again been collected and learned on and trained on, and can be used then to generate new content for our own purposes. So traditional artificial intelligence focus on analyzing data and making predictions. However, generative artificial intelligence can produce original and creative output. This is fundamentally new within the last couple of years. This possibility of generating a resume, generating a chapter of a book, an outline for a book, a critique of a book, a review of a book, as it were. So one of the main technologies that has been used to create generative AI is called ChatGPT. And I imagine most people in the room have heard about this and online. Just a quick show of hands, how many of you use ChatGPT or a program like that? And hold your hands up, keep your hands up if you use it every single day. Just a few of us. Some have considered GPT and generative AI to be as powerful a technology as electricity and the internet, and perhaps more profound than the internet. So we use these other technologies daily, but this is a technology like the internet that I would predict that most of you will be using on a daily basis within the next few years. For those of you who want to get a start, though, you can use programs such as ChatGPT, or Meta, or Claude's AI, or Perplexity, a number of others, to reach into generative AI. So this is an interface. This is the ChatGPT interface that one can use to request or prompt for creative output. So the other day, I created a prompt. Tell the Oakland Rotary Club what is ChatGPT. And ChatGPT gave me a quick response. And it started with good afternoon, and it began to describe what it is in detail. In a matter of seconds, this content was produced. So just taking a step back, when it was released in November of 2022, it was remarkable, the uptake. Within 5 days, over 1 million users were beginning to use the technology. And this is faster than any other online technology ever used before. Similarly, within 3 months, or within 2 months, over 100 million users were using the technology. So that's early 2023. So moving on, how can one use and leverage this technology today? Again, it's relatively simple to gain these, what we could refer to as superpowers, mental superpowers, cognitive superpowers, creative superpowers. So I'm just going to do a few demonstrations of the ChatGPT technology, and then we'll open it up for questions. So this is the interface. It looks almost like a Google search interface, where you enter in what's often called a prompt. So you're going to ask it what you want. Do you want a spreadsheet? Do you want an image? Do you want a document? Do you want a poem? Do you want to upload a letter that you just wrote and have it edit it, ask you questions about it, critique it? So imagine that we could create a detailed presentation on generative AI for this particular club. And I'll continue this prompt on the next few slides. It should be 30 minutes long. It should be able to convey the content and delivery and include an introduction, some main points, and a conclusion. And each section should highlight how generative AI can impact different sectors relevant to the club, including members in law, real estate, accounting, finance, nonprofits, and general business. So if we were to do this, let's see. So I will switch over to this screen, and this is the interface. This is chatgpt.com, and I will paste in that prompt, which, and given our internet speed here, it will begin to produce this output for us. And it'll talk about the introduction as 5 minutes long with some opening statements. It will give an overview of generative AI. It will suggest some engaging visuals. It will create some main points about finance and applications to finance and their impacts and relative visuals. For AI and law, again, applications, impact, and visuals, as well as interactive elements, a Q&A session with a ChatGPT answering legal questions with disclaimers about it not being perfect or a substitute for an attorney. Imagine that there are applications then in real estate, property valuation, virtual property tours, personalized marketing and client engagement, and such. Imagine for the generative AI for nonprofits. Applications in donor communication, fundraising, generation for campaigns, and such, again, with visuals. And lastly, for general business, for customer service automation, design and innovation, intelligence and analytics for the business, with relevant impacts and visuals. And so in just a matter of seconds, it was able to generate this content for us. Of course, it's not perfect, and of course, there's some legwork to be done to add this to individual slides and such. But as I predict in the next few months, there will be programs that allow us to quickly just add this to a spreadsheet. To a slide deck. So imagine we can just say, take this content, create a 10-page slide deck, and now I will go in and edit each slide. And as I'm going in and editing each slide, I may have a co-pilot next to me, helping me. Is this what you want? Is there a question you would like to ask your audience that you would like to add here? So all of this relatively quickly. So this is one such example, and we will see others. So thank you. So let's take a look at the opportunity for ChatGPT itself to help us with prompts. So in the same way many of us have had challenges over the years, how should we prompt Google to give us the results that we want? There are now new challenges in prompting these generative AI chatbots for giving us what we want. So this idea of creating prompts is in itself an art form. So I would consider this not really beginning content, as many of you have already used ChatGPT. I think you're ready perhaps for another level. So what I've now done is ask ChatGPT to create prompts for different types of persons, such as maybe attending the club here today. For real estate developers, not-for-profits, business people, CPAs and such. So I'm telling ChatGPT to create some useful prompts which I can then feed back into ChatGPT itself, if that makes sense. So this is my little interface, imagine. So I could say, create 5 prompts that demonstrate for the Rotary Club different possibilities for generative AI. And so now I've just added these to the slides rather than doing it in a live, but say the first prompt it suggested was create a strategic marketing plan for a small professional service firm to increase local visibility and client acquisition, and include a mix of digital and marketing strategies and such. So perhaps you can begin to see the power of this technology, that it's creating the prompts to help me get the content that I want. And we'll go on. We'll look at for real estate developers and brokers. Create a market analysis. So you could say, you could add to this. So maybe it produces this for you, and you say, well, I want it to be for a $5 million, 10,000 square foot new commercial real estate development project in Oakland. And include an overview of the trends, competitive landscape, the possible ROI for the next 5 years. Extraordinary, right? In some ways, it's magical, I think, that you could just create a grant proposal for nonprofit executive directors. And it will be focused on community development, and there will be sections on the mission, the description, the impact, the budget breakdown, and a plan for its evaluation. Similarly, for CPAs, I want to see a detailed client report, and perhaps you'll give a little content of a little profile, add some content in. So ChatGPT may create this prompt for you, but then you're like, well, I want to make it specific. I want it to be for a type of business, a type of business in a particular city. Maybe it's a franchise, a global franchise business, and I want to see profit margins, cash flows, and expense ratios, and how it might improve its financial performance over the next quarter. Similarly for attorneys. And this is an area that's perhaps the most gray, if you will. There's a lot of resistance, of course, because it can produce false outputs and create complexities for one. But perhaps maybe there's some kind of dispute for commercial lease, and you wanted a litigation strategy. And you wanted it to include arguments and counter-arguments and questions and analysis of potential outcomes based upon current laws and precedent. So these prompts then are designed for us to be able to explore a direction that we may be going with. So another very interesting and easy application for ChatGPT is to summarize a video transcript. If you've used YouTube's transcript feature, it's very easy to see the transcript, especially when you're on a desktop. So when you're on a desktop and using YouTube, you can open up the transcript, you can copy the transcript, put it on your clipboard, and say, summarize this video, or make a critique of this video, or ask questions about a particular topic in this video. This video was done by Jensen Huang of NVIDIA, Bay Area company, and of Ilya Sutskever, who was one of the creators of ChatGPT, one of the founders of OpenAI. And this was at a particular moment in early 2023, after ChatGPT had been released for just a few months, and Jensen Huang is asking him, tell us about ChatGPT and the course that this ChatGPT, as it's been this AI that's been heard around the world. Summarize the entire video transcript. So I pasted it in, and it told us that he was the founder and about the deep learning, the significance of the technologies that were used to build it, and the development of the GPT system, its sources of information, of what it was trained on, as it were, its potential reasoning capabilities, and the possibility to generate its own data for learning and problem solving. So it, again, happened in just a matter of seconds, that it summarized the entire video. Earlier this week, I was transcribing some of the Oakland Rotary past presenters' videos, and it was very interesting to see. I could quickly take the transcript, have it summarized, and look and see the key insights from the speakers. It was a very quick way to get to know who the people in the room might be and what their questions could be. So with that, I think I'd like to open it up for questions both in person here and online. One thing I will say is that all of these images in this presentation I created myself in just a matter of minutes for most of them. This one, I like the artist Joan Moreau, and so I asked it to create a landscape image about something called chain of thought prompting. So a more intermediate advanced technique in using ChatGPT is to ask it a number of questions about, so one question may follow another question, may follow another question. So you first will ask it to create perhaps 10 ideas for a book on a particular topic. And then you could say, okay, create a short description for these 3 ideas. And then you think, well, let me just pick one of those ideas and create an outline for that book. And now that I have an outline for the book, create a sample for the first 3 paragraphs of the first chapter. Now write a conclusion for the book. So you'll look at the beginning and the end. And then you can work this way with ChatGPT, and it may take you hours, it may take you days, it may take you months, but still, you'll be coached all along the way on how to create this book. You will be working with it. It's not that it would write a best-selling novel at the get-go, but you could start to use it to give it your ideas, to question, to help critique your own content. So it becomes, in a sense, your partner for creating a novel. Just as we've used the grammar checks and the spell checks, and many of those are based on AI technologies. So now we're using this in a new way to help us generate ideas, to generate content, to generate questions. Speaking of which, now it's your turn.
Thank you for your presentation today. I have to admit I've not been a user of ChatGPT, but as I listen to the various news articles about the tool that it provides, can you comment on how you think generative AI is going to impact learning in schools, particularly in the high school and college levels, where youth are being taught critical thinking and gathering information on their own, where they now have this tool? Does it take away some of that critical thinking?
Thank you for colleges, and for it to potentially supplement critical thinking, but perhaps take away some of that, if I understand the question correctly. I'd like to point to a pioneer in this space, who I'm sure most of you are familiar with, Sal Khan, who's created a whole YouTube academy, as it were, called the Khan Academy. It's been going on for a number of years. And so he's been teaching many different topics, along with his colleagues in the Khan Academy. And they've recently released a new ChatGPT-based school and student co-pilot to supplement learning. It's called Khan Migo, kind of a catchy name for the Khan Academy and your friend. And it's designed specifically to help students and teachers in the learning process. It's been designed to help a student and find out where they're at, in part using technology, using procedures, using things like Socratic reasoning to engage the student, to find out where they're at, to help them go to the next step, to help them create content, and to spot potentially cheating, also to report to the instructor how the student is doing. So it allows an instructor to be able to deal with dozens of students with brief reports about each student, and to, again, give an assessment, whether the person is progressing or whether they're falling behind, whether their output is original or something that they've been working on. So in general, I would say that these technologies are very powerful for helping one with critical thinking and reasoning skills, that educational experience is ideally always with an instructor. However, for many parts of the world where there are a lack of instructors or some challenges around education in general, that this technology can be used to fill the gap. It's a technology like the internet that to some extent has become democratized. I hope that answers your question. Sheds some light. Yeah, and then.
I'm next, okay. Thank you for the presentation. I'm not yet really a user of this and I'm finding it fascinating. Two of the things that kind of came up for me were, you know, the old saying, garbage in, garbage out. And there was an article I read about that there was a ChatGPT created article that said it's good for you to eat rocks, and it pulled from a source that was an article written by a professor in The Onion, which was obviously not a reliable source. It was a tongue-in-cheek article. So how do you see that evolving to make sure you don't get bad information? And then the related question is, sometimes there are jumps, like I think about in art, going the Impressionists, right, where you have a dramatic change. Do you see ChatGPT, generative AI, getting to a point where it does that type of dramatic shift? Shift in the sense that you had kind of a traditional painting style, and now you've got this Impressionist style that's really quite different. It's not, you know, I'm not an artist, so I'm not going to say how it's built on or not built on, but it just, to me, it's like a different type of thing.
Okay, so the question about garbage in and garbage out and potentially impacting the movement of artistic creativity into a new era, if I may summarize. So certainly, garbage in and garbage out is a common problem with most computer types of programs, right? If people are entering in false data or such, it may come out as this kind of untrue or unuseful or potentially harmful type of content. I think that's an ongoing challenge for technology. It's not unique particularly to generative AI, though it's certainly amplified by these generative AI technologies. It's up to us to give feedback to the systems that we're using, and for most of them, there are report kind of mechanisms that can be used to report bad content or false content, and most of them are designed well to give constructive feedback. It's up as we work as this in teams and groups. It's important for us to spot and call out untrue content, potentially. So, in short, garbage in, garbage out problem still exists, and there are certain guardrails that are existing and input mechanisms to provide feedback. So I would encourage people to use those to prevent this sort of challenge. And then we also, in terms of the movement art, I think we'll jump to the next. There's a lot of other questions. I'm not an artist, but I certainly think art is moving into a new dimension with generative artistic creativity. And not only art, but also other genres of content, music, performance, movies, like that. So we have a last online question. If 3 separate people input the exact same prompt or question, will the same solution be given to all 3, or will there be a variation by location? A good question and a good thing to test. I would challenge us to try that sort of thing based on location. I suspect if one is doing it in different languages or has a default different language, there may be some differences in content. Typically, the generative AI engines do not produce exactly the same outputs. There are many types of systems like this now in the marketplace today. There's a few dominant ones. I think that we're in a period of great change in this, and so as we'll see the upgrading of these ChatGPTs and the models on which they're trained, we will continue to see improvements and also more extreme outputs for worse or for better. With that,
I have a question.
We'll take a question from the President.
Thank you. So when you of all these different platforms, Is it like, are they all learning from the same internet, the whole world of knowledge, and it's feeding into all of them?
So the question about ChatGPT, Gemini, Meta, Perplexity, Claude, they are trained on similar data sets, to my knowledge, though there's also variations on their training data. And so some of these systems are called open source, some are closed source, so there's different sorts of training data depending on the companies that have trained these and how they're training them. So if that helps.
It doesn't, but thank you. It's very interesting. It might eventually. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. I want to let you know that our speaker gift for today is actually a donation to Polio Plus campaign, which is also a very timely for Joe's speech today. So we'll make a donation on your behalf for Polio Plus. Thank you so much for joining us. I have a couple of quick things. There's one announcement from Joe here in 1 second, but I also, Anna Marie, your phone went off in the middle of this presentation. And you have taught us over and over. But I want to say that it is your birthday today. And I'm going to completely forgive, no, I'm kidding. Happy birthday, Anna Marie. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I thought it was funny because you are the queen of all of those tools, but happy birthday. Happy birthday to John Protopappas today. Happy birthday, John. Did I forget anybody? Probably. Okay, Joe, we have some special guests in from Fukuoka. We are sister cities with Fukuoka for many, many, many years, the city of Oakland. And Joe, want to give us just a minute on
Thank you,
our
President
guest?
Shannon. Yes, next week, Saya Yatutsi from Fukuoka, Japan will be with us. And she wanted to go see Santa Cruz. So on Wednesday, Surf's Up. We're going to go to the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk and afterwards have dinner at Capitola at the Shadowbrook. If you've been there, it's a lovely restaurant. You go down a funicular. Thursday, she'll join us at the meeting with the student from El Cerrito High that went to Fukuoka, Aspen Ross. I'm sure Shannon will ask her to tell you a little bit about Japan. Then we're going to visit the mayor. We're going to go to Jack London Square, Lake Merritt, Torrey Gate. And then around 6 o'clock, we're going to have dinner at Fitness. So if any of that sounds fun, you want to meet Saya, learn a little more about Japan, please join us.
Thank
Just
you.
let me know, or Shannon know, or Jesse.
Rich. Rich Vabaskin had a quick announcement. Real quick. And then we'll tee up our speaker for next week.
Thank you very much. My band, Rick Baskin and Laying Down the Law, we're playing in Sausalito Saturday, August 17th, and every third Saturday for the rest of the year. So I hope you can come. It's a four-piece band. We play jazz and blues. It's a beautiful little restaurant, Italian restaurant on the water on Bridgeway. So
Thank you.
Saturday, 6 to 9.
Awesome. And we've been there
August
before,
17th.
and it's
Thank you.
wonderful to see one of our Rotarians in his band. Thank you. And Mary, who's up for next week?
Okay, so next week, speaker will be William G. Wong. He's a retired newspaper journalist who was born and raised in Oakland, Chinatown. And in his journalist career, he wrote articles for the San Francisco Chronicle, the San Francisco Examiner, Wall Street Journal, Oakland Tribune. Any publication, he probably has some comments there. Well, he is the author of a brand new book called Sons of Chinatown, a memoir rooted in both China and America. So please come next week to hear Bill Wong's fascinating story.
Great. Thank you. And with that, this meeting is adjourned with a minute to spare.